Hello everyone and welcome to this webinar for SchoolinHUB, a professional development course. My name is Angela and today I will be presenting Module 3, Digital Tools for Multicultural Classrooms. So this module is divided into 3 units: inclusive digital resources in the context of multicultural education, using multimedia for inclusive storytelling, and game-based learning and cultural play in early childhood education. So, digital technologies have emerged as a powerful catalyst for creating inclusive and effective learning environments, specifically for young migrant children. This revised module explores how strategically harness age-appropriate digital tools to support language acquisition, cultural integration, and meaningful engagement in multicultural early childhood classrooms. The objectives of the module is to evaluate and select developmentally appropriate digital tools, especially for children aged 4 to 7 years old, implement multimedia storytelling approaches, design gamification strategies, and create inclusive digital environments. So it is very important that understanding of early childhood development principles, aged 4 to 7 years old, basic familiarity with multicultural classroom dynamics, basic comfort with digital devices commonly used in early childhood settings, and the completion of Module 1 and 2 is also recommended. So here you can have an overview of the learning outcomes from these modules. So the teaching methods that we will use, it's hands-on exploration of age-appropriate digital tools, collaborative case studies analysis, digital storytelling and gamification design activities, peer dialogue and collective problem solving, and reflective self-assessment and discussion. The approximate duration of this module is 10 hours distributed across the 3 units. So let's jump into Unit 3.1. It is very important to understand that digital inclusion in multicultural education extends far beyond simply providing access to technology. For children aged 4 to 7 years old from diverse cultural backgrounds, inclusive digital resources must be carefully selected to honor cultural diversity while supporting foundational learning goals. So why this cultural relevance matters in digital learning? It matters because it builds students' identity and confidence, it enhances their engagement in classrooms, and improves their learning and inclusion. Selecting age-appropriate digital tools. Tools must align with the cognitive, social, and motor development characteristics of young children. Tools for multicultural classrooms must reflect diverse perspectives, avoid stereotypes, and include multilingual support. And for young multilingual learners, tools should include translation features, multilingual interfaces, and support for both home and target languages. Digital tools for early childhood should provide accessibility options that support all learners, including those with visual, auditory, motor, or cognitive disabilities. And it is also essential that digital resources safeguard children's data and comply with privacy regulations such as GDPR. So, some recommended digital tools for young multilingual learners you can find below in this presentation. Here are some interactive learning platforms that you could integrate in your educational methods. And this is how you could implement the introduction framework. So addressing the digital divide, device leading programs is establish tablet or device checkout systems for families lacking technology access, ensuring equitable home-school connections. Multilingual training sessions. You can provide family workshops in multiple languages to build digital literacy skills among parents and caregivers. Offline alternatives are also suggested to develop paper-based versions of key digital activities to ensure that no children is excluded due to technology limitations. And community partnerships, it is also very essential to collaborate with local libraries, community centers, and cultural organizations to expand technology access and support. Here are some evaluation criteria checklist for your use. And here are some self-assessment of current digital practices. So now jumping to Unit 3.2, using multimedia for inclusive storytelling. So the power of digital storytelling in early childhood and multicultural education has emerged as a particular powerful tool for enhancing inclusivity in multicultural classrooms with young children. So research evidence for digital storytelling impact has shown that significant improvements in students' communicative competencies have occurred when using digital storytelling. Core approaches to digital storytelling for ages 4 to 7. Here are some basic steps that you can follow. Story invention, reflective listening, digital enhancement. And here are some creation tools for young children that you can use. So, implementation timeline for early childhood settings. It is very important to build the foundation, so introduce some basic concept of digital storytelling in your classrooms, explore simple recording tools with whole group activities, establish digital citizenship expectations, appropriate of course for children aged 4 to 7 years old, begin family outreach to explain digital storytelling goals and invite parents' participation. During phase two, it is important to build skills development. So, small group practice with chosen digital storytelling tools. Create first simple stories focusing on personal experiences and cultural sharing. Develop basic technical skills in age appropriate ways. And in phase three, integration and expansion, you can integrate storytelling into multiple subject areas and learning centers, create more complex narratives with multimedia elements, share stories with families and broader school community, and reflect on learning and celebrate cultural diversity through storytelling. Here are some assessment strategies for young children. And here are some examples of hands-on activities on digital storytelling workshops that you can use and integrate into your classrooms, step by step. And jumping into Unit 3.3, game-based learning and cultural play in early childhood. Understanding gamification in early childhood and multicultural education. Gamification is the application of game elements in non-gaming contexts and has shown promising potential for young children in multicultural educational settings. Research has demonstrated that game-based learning has moderate to large effects on cognitive, social, emotional, motivation, and engagement outcomes in early childhood education. A comprehensive meta-analysis of game-based learning in early childhood education reveals significant positive effects across multiple domains: cognitive development, social development, emotional development, motivation, and engagement. So, gamification versus game-based learning for young children, these are two different things. Gamification involves applying game design elements, points, badges, levels to traditional learning activities without changing the fundamental structures. And game-based learning uses actual games as the primary learning vehicle. For young multilingual learners, this includes educational games designed specifically for language learning, cultural games from different countries adapted for classroom use, interactive storytelling games that incorporate multicultural themes, and collaborative games that require cooperation across cultural groups. So digital gamification tools for age 7 to 4. Here are some examples. You can use Kahoot. For example, it is very well known. Class Dojo's Big Ideas. and interactive whiteboard as game platforms. Gamified learning centers are activity spaces within the classroom that use game elements, point, choice, collaboration, feedback to create engaging and inclusive learning experience. In early childhood multicultural settings, these centers support cognitive development, social interaction, and language learning through culturally responsive play. So here are some examples of childhood gamified learning centers. And here is the implementation strategy for early childhood settings. During week 1, you can do game exploration, introduce simple digital games during the whole group time, demonstrate basic game mechanics, establish game playing routines and digital citizenship expectations, and begin cultural game sharing where families contribute traditional games. During weeks 2 to 4, skills building, you can rotate through different game types in smaller groups, practice collaboration in team-based games, develop problem-solving skills through age-appropriate challenges, and create simple games using basic game creation tools. During weeks 4, 5 to 8, integration and creation. You can integrate games into learning centers and daily routines. Children create their own games incorporating cultural elements. Family game sharing events where parents teach traditional games is also very essential, and assessment through game-based activities showing learning progress. So these are some case studies of multicultural gamification in action that you can use for your reference. And here are the results and observations from the first case study. So mathematics scores were improved across the students, language development accelerated through multilingual game interactions, social skills strengthened through collaborative game experience, and regarding cultural integration, children showed increased pride in sharing their cultural games, and cross-cultural friendships were developed through this gaming experience. And of course, technological skills were also cultivated during this example. And here is a second case study that you can refer to. The scenario is Our Stories, Our Worlds, and the objective is at Rainbow Learning Center, digital storytelling and gamification to foster inclusion and skill building for children from newly arrived immigrant families. You can refer to the implementation framework below. Challenges and solutions that educators faced. The results were improvement in the use of host language vocabulary, home language use increases, stronger cultural pride, all children gained digital literacy and creative collaborative skills, and there was a boost in their confidence, empathy, and group collaboration. And here are the references of today's module, and I would like to thank you all for your participation and interest in our project. Thank you.